So Janelle is starting her Monday morning off hot, directly adding the Ashley who released the article yesterday about Jace running away from Barbara, and the fact that Janelle was gloating during the time that her eldest son was missing, because that's appropriate. So now she is tweeting, after she's probably been up all night on the land, tweeting that her mother is the one who is selling stories to the Ashley and is directly adding the Ashley because of her article. But what's interesting is she goes, silly me, she's not trying to be a mom to me. And I'm like, Janelle, you have not been a mom to Jace ever. Ever. It's like you have not even tried to do that, to be a great example of a mother for Jace. And then you're going to turn around and say that your mother isn't being a mother to you when she was protecting your child, took him in, raised him, and tried to give him a place to settle and be good at. But there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But the fact that you were gloating during that time and now you're upset that the Ashley got that information of why you were gloating and you didn't get to release that information because you somehow think Jace running away from Barbara makes you look good, makes it look like, oh, see, I'm not the problem. No, you're still the problem, honey. But you're upset that the Ashley, you've been gloating all day, all weekend, and then the Ashley lets us know why you're gloating is that your son is missing. So of course you don't like how that makes you look, but this is what you've been doing. This is why everybody has the feelings that they have about you and why they think that you've chosen this man over your own child. Because both of y'all are sitting there online gloating. He's talking about some "Where is Waldo?" for your son. Insanity. And then you're sitting there talking about some "when the weapons against me aren't prospering, when the weapons formed against me aren't prospering." Hell yes. Yeah, people are going to have something to say because your child was missing during those moments. So it's weird. So since she wants to at the Ashley at the ass crack of dawn on Monday morning, I truly hope that the Ashley snaps back at her real snappy like. Alright, please put her on blast since she's bold enough in accusing you and accusing her mother of selling stories. Snap back at her real quick. You know, tell her how ignorant it is that she has chosen her, whatever the F that is, over her child. How the fact that everything she says is ironic as hell because she's the pot calling the kettle black. Everything she says about somebody else are things that she has done and or is doing. And she doesn't understand it. That's because she's been smoking too much shit out there on the land. The Ashley, I hope she snaps back at her. Yes, so the folks out on the land are legit spiraling. Well, at least Janelle is. We don't know what the swamp monster is doing, but it seems like she was up all night, absolutely furious that the Ashley let the world know she was gloating while her son was missing, and the fact that she was denying him getting his proper medication that could have put him back on the right track, not to run away again from Barb. I wanted to see if the Ashley had responded to Janelle adding her this morning at the crack ass of dawn, but the Ashley is very classy and has not. She's better than me because but she started at like 5 o'clock in the morning, okay? I know that she probably had to be awake all night because nobody starts off like after
waking up, opening their freaking eyeballs, starts off like this on Twitter first thing in the morning. At least not a normal person. But Janelle, given the fact that she's furious over the situation, did exactly that. She started off saying, "Of course my mom would become friends with my enemies on purpose to sell stories. Silly me. She's not trying to be a mother to me. Why would I ever think that? It's crazy how older women treat me more like a mom on the internet by writing to me with encouragement and words of caring more than my own mother does. Thanks everyone. I see your comments and it does really make me feel better. Just understand I am one broken daughter right now that wishes I had one parent that acts like one. Now the media thinks they know my medical information. That's crazy. They can report lie after lie after lie. Going to say this again, this case isn't about me. Can't wait to move far, far away." So I guess they're moving off the land and moving out and off the grid. Wonderful, do that. But in the meantime, your son is in a really shitty situation. I have seen that people are saying he could go possibly to foster care, that he could go to possibly a group home, that he could possibly go to a mental facility. You know, all of which are not places that a 14-year-old boy would want to be. I will say that I think that Jace has a lot of stuff going on, but I feel like he was never given the proper environment to thrive. And when he was trying to get on track of going to therapy and having his medications, it wasn't consistent. And when you're on meds like that regulate, you know, like your mental, when you're on and off and on and off, that in itself can fuck you up. Those aren't meds that you could just stop taking, start taking again, stop taking. Like, you really need to be guided through doctors and like medical advice on how to take those medications. So I do think that possibly has affected what's happening in him running away from Barb. Now, something else that I've been seeing on my comments from the last video talking about Janelle and Barbara is that, you know, Barbara wasn't necessarily the best mother. He obviously didn't want to be there. He doesn't need to be with either Barbara or Janelle. That's probably not the best place for him either. And I get that, seeing as he ran away, but I think that Jace did feel safe with Barbara. I think that there's a lot of underlying shit that we don't know. Yes, a lot is coming out, but I think there's a lot of underlying shit that we don't know that's caused him to run away from Barbara. Barbara was not perfect at all. Barbara has her issues. Has she, you know, have we seen her on Teen Mom cussing out Janelle and everything like that? Absolutely. But I also feel like we've seen her beg and beg and beg her daughter Janelle to be a mom to Jace. And the fact that she's getting up there in age, she was working at Walmart. Not only does she have Janelle and then her kids that she was helping out with, she had her son and her other daughter Ashley, who she was helping out as well. That's a lot on one person. And from, you know, things I've heard on other channels, Grace Report, Elle Bee, excellent sources who have been following this for ages. Check them out, subscribe, do all of those things. I'll link them below. That there were some issues growing up with Janelle and Barbara. The whole family, they've gone through some shit. Like, where's the father? You know what I mean? Like, they've gone through some shit. So I don't think that I'm going to blame Barbara for the situation, because there are people who have had very shitty upbringings and had, you know, not have parents in their lives, who have decided because of that they're going to do the opposite and be the best possible parents they could be and give their children everything that they didn't have. Like, it's a choice. You can be a victim and, you know, say I'm gonna act like X, Y, and Z because my parents didn't give me X, Y, and Z. Or you could say, I was never afforded this experience of like living in a non-toxic household. Why don't I provide a different environment, or the complete opposite environment for my children? You know what I mean? So it's still, because Janelle is a grown woman, this is a lot of her fault. And I feel like she's never really wanting to take accountability over what is happening, and she's always blaming her mom. Always blaming Barbara for everything. Now it's that she's selling stories to the Ashley. We don't know how the Ashley's getting this information, but the Ashley is heavily connected, you know? She was out there in the court case getting pictures of Janelle flicking off paparazzi. Like, she got some connects. But I think that to blame Barbara is so off board, and how at this point do you not have any introspection to look at, where did I go wrong in this situation? Like, are you not accountable for anything, Janelle? Nothing at all. It's all Barbara's fault. From what we've seen, she's tried to help Jace, put him in therapy, have him in school, on his medications, give him a stable home. You know, from the Teen Mom show, he would say that he didn't want to go over to your house, didn't want to be with David, and she was very much, well, like, I'm not sending you over there. If you don't want to be there, you don't feel safe, I'm not sending you over there then. You're going to stay here with me, like, trying to protect him. So I feel like, yes, Barbara wasn't perfect, but who is perfect? Nobody is perfect, but you gotta at least try to be a good parent. And I think Barbara did her best with the situation she was given, and I don't feel like Janelle has tried, because she puts David in front of everything, absolutely everything. So she's doing that at 5 o'clock this morning, all these tweets blaming her mother, and then, whoa, it was so crazy. Then we get another article. Basically letting us know from the Sun, Janelle's hell. Teen mom Janelle Evans ordered by CPS to complete intensive therapy and drug tests after she loses custody of son Jace. So you were doing all that gloating, talking about when weapons formed against me, you know, ain't prospering, but yet CPS is ordering you to have intensive therapy and drug tests. I think all of it is valid if your child is running away from you so often. I definitely think it's valid. And we don't even know what Jace told CPS investigators and all of that from what he's witnessed out there on the land. So, and we know they partake, okay? So for a drug test, you partaking in weed, that stays in your system. Let me see. Because she would have to, and I don't think weed is legal where they're at. How long does weed stay in your system? And I think it depends on like how heavy of a smoker you are, but it can stay, it's detectable in your system for up to 90 days. In hair, anywhere between 1 day to a month or longer in urine. So, and then up to 24 hours in saliva and up to 12 hours in blood. So if it's illegal out there where they are in North Carolina, which I'm pretty sure it is that going to be an issue if you drug test and you got weed in your system? I know, I think I was watching, I think it was David. Maybe he was talking about how they have a medical card in like California or something for like when they're out there, then they can buy legally or whatever. But you are mainly in Dangle, North Carolina, where it's not legal. So that's an issue there. Intensive therapy, it seems as if they don't really believe in therapy, given that David was putting reviews on the therapist website talking about, oh, she's gonna brainwash your children, have them saying things that are out of context, basically giving the therapist all types of issues, to the point where other therapists in the area, per the Ashley's article yesterday, don't even want to have nothing to do with them, which means they don't want to have nothing to do with Jace, because his parents are a liability, which is sad because he can't get the help that he needs in that area where he lives, because they're over there on the land infamous. Every time they come around is some bullshit, namely because of David. So it continues. The U.S. Sun can reveal, she's having to complete the intensive therapy and drug test after she lost custody of Jace. Sources close to the former Teen Mom 2-star exclusively reveal that after her 14-year-old son was removed from custody, Janelle was ordered to undergo extensive therapy sessions that are expected to last for months on end. Whoa. She's being forced to do all this therapy, and this is not the last time. And this is not like the last time she had CPS investigating her home. This is bigger than that. She will be in therapy for months. And I think that it's helpful. Maybe somewhere along the way, she'll wake up and be like, oh, David's fucking horrible, and he's put me in all of these fucked up situations that I'm in, and now have to figure out, and now have to pay all these legal fees, which means that now I gotta do more OnlyFans, da-da-da-da. Horrible. Because David is bringing all the conflict, all the issues, all the chaos, but ain't bringing no money in to pay for all the issues in legal. That is completely fucked up to me. That's so David, you just worthless. And I don't like saying anybody is worthless because everybody has worth, but come on, David is just, what do you do but create issues? Create problems for your family, your wife, etc. What do you do? So, the insider added that Janelle is also undergoing drug testing as part of the child welfare agency case. Jace has been removed from Janelle's home in late September by CPS after the teen ran away from his mother's home for a third time following an alleged assault by his stepfather, David Easton, 35. While CPS had maintained legal custody of Jace, he was placed in his grandmother Barbara's care with sights on possibly making the arrangement permanent. Now that's not going to be a thing. So, what are you going to do, Janelle? What are you going to do? This is some bullshit, honey. So bullshit. And then she started going off on Twitter this morning. She then took her spiraling to Facebook with a very lengthy couple of posts. Again, blaming her mother. Because, of course, Janelle's not going to take accountability for a damn thing. And you cannot grow if you don't take accountability for the shit that we've done. So on Facebook, she goes, and I mean, when I tell you all the comments, even on her Twitter, when she's posting that shit, all the comments were all under the same accord. We're all I don't know, I guess on TikTok she's getting other comments where women are encouraging her and this, that, and other, but for the most part on Twitter, all the comments are girl, get your fucking head out of your ass, out of David's ass, get it the fuck together. This is not your mom's fault. You have a lot to do with this as well. Why did you not have allow Jace to get his medication? What is happening? You aren't making all of these things. Pot calling the kettle black, so, and that's a lot in itself. So I'm Janelle, does it not get tired of reading the same thing over and over again, and not realizing that maybe people are saying the truth, telling you what's real, instead of you listening to your husband who's just trying to isolate you and take your money, allegedly? I don't know. But she posts on Facebook, that's so crazy. So Barbara leaks information to Shannon Gordon, and that's where the Ashley gets her lies from. Makes sense, because I'm taking Shannon and her husband to court. They are ordered to pay me back my $2,000 they owe me. Who is Shannon? Of course my mom would become friends with my enemies on purpose to sell stories. Silly me. She's not thinking to be a mother to me. So that's what she posted on Twitter as well, but with a little bit different verbiage. So then she goes in and says, honestly, I haven't spoken to my mom since July because she's mad about our family trip to Puerto Rico for some reason. Laughing face. Didn't we get I remember hearing audio of that Puerto Rico trip where I believe it was Barbara wanted to take Jace on a walk or something, but it was dark, and Janelle was like, no, it's dark, and she was like, well, you don't care about me, I'm walking in the dark too, something like that, something to that effect. There's been so much going on, crazy. So she's upset about their family trip to Puerto Rico for some reason. I'm sure you know why, Janelle. She has blocked me, even though I've tried to reach out before, but last night I caved in and called her after hearing her leak this information. Wow. So you can call your mom like, hey mom, are you good? Thanks for having my son. No, just, I'm sure she picked up the phone, didn't even say hello, good morning, not shit. Oh God. And at the middle of this is a 14-year-old boy, Jace, who does not know what the fuck is going on and why the fuck he got placed with this family, in this fucking situation, why he was on MTV, why everybody fucking knows. It's just a lot. It's just a lot, and I really feel bad for him, and I'm really thinking about making this like my last video on this shit, because it's gotten to a point where it's just like, it's gross. It's fucking gross. And Jace is now in a situation where he's with nobody. Like, yeah, you're not with your mom, but now you're not even with Barbara. And it's just, I couldn't imagine. I just could not imagine. So she called her mom and said, after I asked about Shannon, Barbara said, you're delusional. You'll never get him back. I don't talk to Shannon. Hangs up on me. And then not even 5 minutes later, calls someone I know. And I heard my mom say, why did you tell Janelle I was talking to Shannon? Proving my point. I wasn't wrong. I would never think in a million years my own mother would be treating me this way. I'm sick of holding back and going to start releasing pieces of my childhood story. The way I was raised was not okay. I have protected my children against her and my mental instability and my mentally unstable siblings. Damn, now she's calling her siblings mentally unstable. Damn, she don't have a relationship with her brother or her sister, I believe. Like, so now you're gonna start releasing pieces of your childhood. The thing is, Janelle, not everybody, but a lot of people have had fucked up childhoods. Like, that does not mean you get to then it's okay for you to be a fucked up parent because you had a fucked up childhood. Like, you have a choice to do better because you know you can do better. You have the means to do better. You were on MTV for years, stacking, I'm sure, making a lot of fucking money. You had the capability to do better. Instead, you want to focus on your shit childhood and be a victim to that and provide your child and children, well, your child, with a shit upbringing as well. Like, does that make sense? No. Like, so your Barbara was a shit mom, you're being a shit mom. Because Barbara was a shit mom, why not be a better mom? Because Barbara was a shit mom, allegedly, from what you're saying. It's just, it's crazy. So she's saying her brother and sister are mentally unstable. I mean, she's talking about her medical stuff being all out there. I'm sure your siblings didn't want people to know that they're mentally unstable, allegedly, in your opinion. She says she does not let her kids talk to them, and she doesn't talk to her siblings, and it's for a reason. There's also a reason I never mention I have a brother or a sister to the public. I think there's a lot of others who will relate to my childhood trauma and maybe not feel as lonely if I share my story. Yeah, there's a lot of others that can relate to your childhood trauma, but I'm sure as they moved on and grew up and progressed, they didn't decide, oh, because my childhood was traumatic, I'm then going to make another person's upbringing traumatic. You know, like, they're probably thinking, okay, because I had so much trauma, I want to do better for me and mine. Like, it's just weird. It's just weird. Just know, Barbara, you messed with the wrong mom. You used me for money. You used my son for money. Now you brag about your houses being paid off because of me. She raised your son from infancy and you guys were on a show. Like, if you were raising your kid, maybe Barbara wouldn't have had so much, you know, screen time on Teen Mom because it would have been more focused on you. But the whole focus was the dysfunction between you, your mom, and the fact that your child wasn't getting the care they needed and all the many men. So, yeah, she earned that check because she was on the show just as much as you were on the show because you weren't fit to care for your child at the time, still 14 years later. You don't ask how I'm doing as a mother. You protect Ashley because she lost custody of her kids, buy her car, buy her a house, buy her custody lawyers, but try to fight me for taking perfectly good care of my family, Janelle. So she be putting other people's business out there because her business is all out there. So she talk about her sister and everything her mom does for her, and talking about her brothers and shit, putting all their business out there because all her business out in the street when they ain't got shit to do with nothing. What do your siblings have to do with this situation with you and Jace? It's just. And you were on an MTV show, so you should have money to do X, Y, and Z. Ashley and the brother were not. So maybe what's wrong with your mother wanting to help her children out because she got a bag? Like, what's wrong with that? And she's fighting you because you're fighting her. Y'all have been fighting each other for years. In taking good care of your family, if you were taking good care of your family, that means everybody, not just 2 of the 3 children. You know, that means everybody. And one currently right now is potentially in foster care or a mental facility. So, wow. No wonder why none of your family talks to you from up north. No one trusts you and never will. You would think you would want to protect a minor as much as possible and not be releasing his medical information to the media over and over again. Like I said at the beginning, don't point fingers at us because it's not. Someone send this to her. Thanks. Oh my gosh. If you ask Janelle, she literally thinks that she has done absolutely nothing wrong at all from the moment that Jace was born to this moment now in November of 2023. Janelle has done everything perfectly, everything right, all of that. Nothing is her fault. If you ask her, she has been a model of a good mother. She has done nothing wrong. It is all her mother. It is all the media. It is all everybody else's fault. And it's insane. So that is what's going on currently on the land. She says she can't wait to move far, far away. Whatever. That even sucks more because that means you're not going to be anywhere near your son Jace, wherever he is. So you're just, what, going to leave him behind and take the other 2? Like, maybe this is why Jace is feeling a type of way, because you'd have made your own unit and, like, completely kicked him out of your shit. So, that's what's happening, y'all. Lots of crazy stuff, and I keep thinking, like, seeing in my head, like, the Jace I saw from Teen Mom, like, sitting in this little room by himself, white walls, just being scared, terrified, and fucking confused, and, like, he can't be with his grandma, he can't be with his mom. What is left? I like, and it just makes me so sad, like, because that would be hard for an adult to deal with, but for a 14-year-old, holy shit. And I just feel like Janelle's not caring about any of that. She's talking about everything else in the world. It's all me. What about Jace? What about Jace's traumatic upbringing? What about it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I will see you guys in another video. I hope that you're having a lovely Monday wherever you may be in this crazy, crazy world, and we'll touch base very shortly. Bye.